Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today's topic in our Seerah time is going to be about the second migration of the early Muslims to Abyssinia. So let's get on with it, children. After the event of prostration of the Quraysh had taken place, the Quraysh felt ashamed at losing their power on themselves and bowing down, that is, doing a sajda in front of everyone. It had become a talk of the town. This made them very angry. In reaction, they became even more hostile towards the Muslims. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ decided to form another bigger group, silently and secretly, to leave for Mecca for Abyssinia, where they would be safe. A group of 82 or 83 men and 18 women was made and quite skillfully departed from Mecca. The Quraysh, however, got to find out. They found out about their escape, though they were late and helpless. They could not believe it. How could this happen? And they would not let them live happily after leaving so peacefully. So they started to think, plotting and planning on how to punish them. They decided to send 2 of their men as their representatives. These men would go to see the king by taking gifts for him. Once they would get access to the king, they could then convince him to send these people back to Mecca. So the plan was put to action. They went to see the Abyssinian king and plead their case. Finally, they got in. They said, "O king, some foolish men from our city have come to your country. They have left our religion. By coming here, they have not accepted your religion either, but made up a new one. Back in Mecca, their families have sent us to bring them back home, so we are here." Now this seemed like a very logical request. But the king was a wise man. He did not take any hasty decision. He listened to them and invited another representative from the Muslims group too. So what do you know? Abu Talib's son, Jafar radiallahu anhu, who was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's cousin, came forward on behalf of the Muslims and spoke to the king. It was a long and beautiful speech, explaining the entire essence of Islam. He spoke with respect. "O king, we were a nation in ignorance. We were worshipping idols and we were doing many things that we shouldn't have. We were not concerned about our relatives and we behaved so badly with our neighbors. Anyone strong would exert himself on the weak. We continued to live with such bad manners every day. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised amongst us a messenger from a very noble lineage. He always spoke the truth. He was honest, and we know that for sure. He invited us to acknowledge that God was one, and we should worship Him instead of stones and idols made by our forefathers. Then He told us to speak the truth, and if we make a promise, not to break it. He told us to be kind to our relatives and neighbors. He stopped us from killing each other and taking any orphan's property or saying bad about respectable women. But we were persecuted by the Quraysh of our city, who want us to return to the old ways, and they torture us for this. So we fled to your country from our country. and we want your protection. We hope we will be given justice by you." After listening to Jafar radiallahu anhu, the king asked him to recite something of the message of Quran which he says that he has. Jafar radiallahu anhu chose some verses of Surah Maryam which the king could relate to. Indeed, the king was so touched by the beautiful words that his tears welled up and rolled down his cheeks. He agreed this message was the same as Isa alayhi salam had brought. He was so delighted that he gave them the freedom to live in Abyssinia. And on the other hand, he refused the Quraysh who wanted to take them back. They argued in many ways that did not work to their favor. Eventually, they had to leave, failing with all their tricks, and the king returned their gifts too. This was quite a dishonor for them. And so the Muslims lived in peace in Abyssinia till their return when they do. So we stop here today with our story, and we'll continue it inshallah next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.